Alright, peace, Sarah. So this is going to be your reading. We're gonna be going into your Saturn placement. So first and foremost, your Saturn, right, is in Scorpio in the second house, and you have your Saturn retrograde as well. So ultimately, when the planet's retrograde, one expression of this energy is introvertedness. You feel me? So whatever energy is expressed becomes introverted. So like, and even with the Scorpio energy already present being there, first and foremost, like, Saturn is a maleficent planet, right? It's a maleficent planet. It doesn't deal with anything benefic. Saturn deals with fear, doubt, on the negative aspect, of course. But then on the more positive end, Saturn deals with your ability to attain like structure, stability, systemization. Like, Saturn is the planet that deals with your ability to survive. You feel me? So any skills needed to survive, but it's like at the same time, Saturn both is the problem and the solution, in the sense that Saturn rules both death, but also the strife that comes along with life. You feel me? Like, both the planet Mars and Saturn. Mars more deals with strife, the need to try and attempt life. You feel me? But then Saturn more deals with trials and tribulations. You feel me? Going through hardships and all that good stuff. And I'm pretty sure you know all of this, right? As I'm certain you're an adept in astrology, as it already is. Now, you see, when Saturn goes into Scorpio, it's like, so the Saturnian energy gets keyed to the Scorpio frequency, right, which is the frequency of Mars. So the way that this can play out, right, first and foremost, right, both Scorpio and Saturn are magnetic in their nature, right? Scorpio is a feminine sign. Saturn, Saturn is magnetic as well. Saturn, I would say, has its masculine attributes. I can't really say it's a feminine planet, right? But it is associated with like the moon, right, which are the emotions in the home, and the emotions, we'll say. So it's like Saturn deals both. Hold on. I'm thinking right now. Yeah, so Saturn also deals with comfort. You feel me? Comfortability and like security. Like, this is a dimension of Saturn that's also reflected in the moon. You feel me? And like Cancer and Capricorn, right? The two opposite signs. Though that opposition is made between the moon and Saturn. And so the reason why I bring up the moon is because the moon, I don't want to use the word affinity, but yeah, we'll say affinity. Like, the moon has an affinity to the Saturnian energy. You feel me? Like, yeah, there's many associations between the moon and Saturn. But it's like there are different dimensions, as the moon is more malefic. My bad, the moon is more benefic, whereas Saturn is more malefic. And but yeah, so that, like, it's interesting that I bring up the moon, right? Because it so happens that you have your moon in Taurus and Saturn in Scorpio, and these are the opposing signs. You feel what I'm saying? And so, right, as I've ultimately tried and explained, Saturn deals with the world. You feel me? The external world, and the demands that are needed for you to function in the world. Like the need for time, right? You're like, in this world, you need to function in time. and also the need for like um to be like structured and disciplined, and having an ability to apply yourself to a system, you feel me? Like in this world, like I hope you get what I'm trying to say, but that's what Saturn is. It's ultimately systemization, discipline, structure. And Saturn also has an affinity towards like um business, right? And it also deals with selfishness. Saturn is the planet that rules selfishness, you feel me? And so Saturn and Scorpio as well, like, produce very narcissistic energies. You feel what I'm saying? And at the same time, also, like I previously said, because Saturn is a magnetic planet, you feel me? It attracts situations into your life. Like Jupiter is more an electric. Yeah, Jupiter is more of an electric um, planet. So the Jupiter energy is more like, in order for you to experience the Jupiter energy, right, you have to be in faith and like in benevolence and like generosity and prosperity. You feel me? Expansiveness. Like you have to tune yourself into that frequency of expansiveness, luck, and abundance. Like you feel me? Because Jupiter is a benefic planet, up in it's upbeat, right? And so, but because it's masculine, it's like you gotta get into that energy of the Jupiterian energy yourself to attract it. But when it comes to Saturn, because Saturn is feminine, it's default. Like Saturn deals with doubt and fear, for example. Also, you feel what I'm saying? And with you having the Saturn in Scorpio, right? Scorpio being a water sign, whom is ruled by the other malefic planet Mars, right? Scorpio is like nightmares, um, and monsters, right? And like fear, um, intense emotion. That's what Scorpio is. So it's like ultimately with this Saturn energy, with the Martian twist, right? It pictures um the theme of like hardship. You feel me? Like, cause Saturn, it deals with your foundation as well. Like the Moon also deals with your foundation. You feel me? But there being an opposition between Saturn and your Moon, let me explain how that like how that should be looked at. It's like, right, like the Moon, right, is its own planet, right? But then like Saturn is its own planet, right? And so the planets, they're celestial beings. They have their own consciousness. You know, and they interact with each other. So depending on which energy, right, ultimately, well, to be practical, right, depending on what sign the planets are in, like when the planet, like for example, Scorpio and Taurus, they oppose each other, because Scorpio is a sign that deals with extremes. It deals with like danger and like fear, and but Scorpio deals with the emotions, you feel me? So Scorpio and Aries are both Scorpio and Aries are ruled by the planet Mars. And so Scorpio is the feminine expression of Mars, meanwhile Aries is the masculine expression of Mars, right? So ultimately, Scorpio being the feminine expression of Mars, Scorpio is more like um the sexual urges, for example, um because Mars rules like the animalistic aspect of humanity, you feel me? So, but I bring that up because I'm more just trying to highlight, because like Scorpio is also like spite and the revenge, right? All those intense, charged Martian emotions, you feel me? Like sex in of itself, like like an amateur, right? from the surface perspective, would probably associate sex with like Venus, right? Because Venus is the planet of love. But it's like in reality, like even that, it's more Martian in the sense that um, it's an action that involves charged up emotions. You feel what I'm saying? And so that's what Scorpio is. It's intense emotions. And so with you having the Saturn and Scorpio energy, it's an indication that like you were put in many positions in your life, most likely, especially growing up, especially with the Moon and Saturn opposition. You were faced with many Phoenix moments, we will say. You feel me? Scorpio has an affinity for addiction and drugs as well. Not as heavy as Pisces does. Um, Hold on, let me just look at like if you have anything in Pisces. Not really. You have like Lilith in Pisces and your vortex. Yeah, your vortex. But I don't really deal with the comments, you feel me? I feel like the information you need, you can extract it from seven the seven planets themselves, and even like the three planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they're higher octaves, you feel me? Like Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, Neptune the higher octave of Venus, and Pluto the higher octave of the Moon. You feel me? Um, but yeah, like, so I just work with the seven planets, but I have the awareness of the extra three ones as well. You feel what I'm saying? But anyways, right? Yeah. So you also have Mars in Scorpio. But back to what I was saying though. So yeah, like it's an indication that throughout your whole life you've faced and confronted a lot of opposition, and also though, like with the Taurus energy, I do gotta throw this out there, like Taurus is an energy, you feel me, ruled by Venus, right? It has an affinity towards harmony, balance, peace, like stableness, structurization. So what this does is it makes you a type of individual who, like a rock. Also, for example, you have you're not fragile. You feel me? You can endure a lot of stuff, and it's like the bull, right? Taurus, the bull, right? When the bull sees red, it gets enraged, right? And it has no other desire but to attack the red, right? That's essentially how that works. Now, the interesting thing about this is red, right? It's the color of Mars, right? Red is the color of Mars. And like the darker shades of red are the colors of Scorpio, which is the feminine expression of Mars, right? And so Taurus and Scorpio. So this indicates that there were a lot of experiences growing up, you feel me, where authority figures authority figures, right? Because Saturn also deals with authority figures, people that have power over you for whatever reason, and people that tell you what to do type stuff, you feel me? Scorpio is a sign that also deals with like imprisonment, and Mars is the planet that deals with police, right? So like, and honestly, like all of this energy that I'm explaining, it ultimately just sums up to the need to learn how to transmute the crazy life events that you attract to yourself. Because Saturn, right, we've discussed, deals with reality. It ultimately deals with um the world and the experiences you will encounter in the world. Um, and then Jupiter deals with how pleasant, or where the pleasantness will be in the world. So in other words, Saturn is like the road. You feel me? That's what Saturn is. It's the road. It's the path. that you will be walking on. Because Saturn, it ultimately also signifies like your restrictions and your limitations, like the boundaries that you're operating upon. You feel me? And then the sun, it signifies um, you're breaking away from those boundaries, because the sun, it's your ego, it's the I, right? And the sun, it signifies where you have the most attention. You feel me? Where your soul is most focused in, if this makes sense. So the sun sign, it signifies purpose as well. You feel me? What it is that you are putting the most vitalization to, if this makes sense. So that's what the sun is. It's breaking boundaries. You feel me? Like energy. That's what the sun is. But then Saturn is like restrictions, limitations, the world that you live in, like being a fairy, right? In spirit, right? Like right, okay, right? Like example, let's say that, right? Actually, I don't even have to use that ideology of fairy. Like we can just be like Taurus, right? Being Taurian in nature, and thus being Venetian, right? And having a desire for like harmony, peace, and balance, and just wanting to chill. But then being manifested and finding oneself in a world where it's Scorpion, right? Which is like draconic energy as well, which is like darkness, which is like, so Scorpio deals with, yeah, it deals with sex, right? Scorpio deals with sex, um, and it also deals with the negative and more wholesome aspects of sex, right? Like, well, rape, right? Pretty much that's that. Um, because Scorpio is a sign of repression as well, you know, and being a sign of repression, um, it's also a sign of control, right? Power and control. And so all of these things, repression, power, control, you feel me? Sex, second house, okay, you have it in the second house. So ultimately, it's like with it being in the second house, it's an indication that a lot of your values and your beliefs, you feel me, especially like growing up, may have been shot down, or people outside of you may have imprinted upon you what they wanted you to believe. So Scorpio, it belongs to the second emanation, you feel me? I was trying to use another word rather than emanation, because you know that's a word that may be unknown, right? But emanation, it means like the progression, you feel me? Like the succession of things. It's like the signs are broken into 4 groups, right? We have the first group, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, and these are like signs that deal with the self. And then we have the second group, which is Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, and Libra. Libra and Scorpio, you feel me? To put it in order. And so the second sign, these are signs that are a bridge between others and themselves. So whereas the first signs, they fully embrace the beat of their the beat of their heart, the beat of their own drum. They march to the beat of their own drum, you feel me? They don't really care what they said or what people have to say. They just do what they want to do. So it's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. But then the second signs, you know, Libra, Scorpio, Virgo, Leo, right? Scorpio in this case. You're a Taurus, so right, your sun and moon belong to the first emanation. So you're a person who's fixated in your own beliefs, you feel me? And you don't care what people have to say. You do what you want to do, and you're unapologetic about it as well. And also Taurus is a sign, even though an earth sign, it's naturally psychic. And the Taurus energy brings way to these individuals experiencing psychicism, you feel me, psychic experiences in their life. And right, Taurus is a feminine sign, right? It's, yeah, a feminine sign. It is passive, but of course it has aggressive abilities as well. Like the thing about the polarities, right? Because Taurus's polarity is between Venus and Mars, and so there are seeds of aggression within Taurus. It's kind of like the yin and yang symbol. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, but anyways, but yeah. So Taurus, it's a feminine sign, and it's more inclined towards um, psychicism and more inclined toward the yin realm. So being aware of the internal world, and this does also have to do a lot with the fact that it's the first earth sign to manifest. You feel me? Taurus the first, Virgo the second, Capricorn the last. You feel me? And thus Capricorn associates and deals with Saturn things. And Saturn, right, as we've been talking about, is the world. And when you look at Capricorn, Capricorn deals with like business, status, structure, foundation, like being a CEO and having power essentially in the public world. That's what Saturn, I mean, that's what Capricorn deals with, but that's an expression of Saturn. So, but anyways, back to what I was saying though. Whoa, and then you have like your moon in the ninth house, so you are a very philosophical person. You feel me? And you are here to not only accumulate knowledge but spread it and teach others, as well as the ninth house is the house that deals with teaching, right? And sharing one's opinions and X, Y, and Z. Okay, so with Saturn being in the second house, this energy right here is like, well, first and foremost, you can make money through this the Scorpio energy. You feel me? And there have been Scorpio themes where revenue was generated, meaning the Scorpio is things that are like, you know, unseen and yeah, unseen and unknown, mysterious. You feel me? So, you know, being associated with Mars, Scorpio is a sign that does have an affinity towards like criminal activity, right? Or like things that may be hush hush, kept low key. So this can even be like doing things to evade like the IRS, right? Doing things yeah, like, because Scorpio, that energy, that sign in of itself deals with like ultimately mysteriousness and just being secretive and being malefic in nature, also doing things that you're not supposed to. Like Scorpio does deal with like theft and things like that. But ultimately also with you having Saturn in the second house, you the Saturn energy, it deals with poverty. You feel me? Like it's because of Saturn that energies of poverty and like scarcity even exist. You feel me? Like that's the source of that energy. So it's like with your Saturn being in the second house, right, the house of money, through life, you know, the especially the fundamental beginnings, you know, when you feel what I'm saying, like, because the chart, it does signify what is attracted to the life, but it also signifies possibility and potentiality. But anyways, so throughout life, a theme with the second house, Saturn being there, is poverty. You feel me? Like probably experience a lot of poverty, a lot of desiring, right? Because Scorpio is the sign of desire, of wanting, of yearning. So interesting thing about Scorpio and Taurus, right? Because these are polar opposites. Taurus deals with accumulating things, right? Having possessions. You feel what I'm saying? Having things. But then Taurus, right? That's what Taurus signifies. Having things, acquiring things, possession, possessing things, having things, mine, this is mine, right? That's the Taurus energy. But then Scorpio it deals with desiring things. I want, So Taurus I have, Scorpio I want. You feel what I'm saying? And so with your sun being in Taurus and your moon being in Taurus, the sign of money, because Taurus rules rules the second house. You feel me? It's really the second house rules Taurus, but potato. So the second house, with you having your sun and your moon in Taurus, regardless of the external circumstances and situations that you found yourself in, you feel me? You were nevertheless this regardless of I don't even want to make it sound like regardless of like the opposition and like it kind of was like that, you feel me? Like regardless of the experiences you found yourself growing up in and whatnot, not having money, right? Like this is just what I'm seeing with the second house and with the second house Scorpio Saturn energy. Like regardless of all of that, you still put yourself in a position where you ended up attracting a bag to yourself. Like that's what Taurus is all about. It's all about acquiring things, having things, right? Taurus is it belongs in this. It takes place in the spring. The season of spring, right? And the season of spring, when you think about the season of spring, think about it this way. Well, there's only one way to think about it, right? Spring is when everything is sprouting, right? And it's a harvest. So Taurus is a sign of harvest, of already having, right? Meanwhile, Scorpio is like fall, not even fall, it's like winter, right? Not having. But yeah, so what happens here though with Saturn and Scorpio in the second house is you find yourself attracting thoughts of a worrisome nature that deal with money, you feel me? First and foremost, like with Saturn Scorpio second house, you feel what I'm saying? It's like no matter how much money you have and no matter how much money you attract and draw to yourself. Yo, I wonder where your sun is. You have your sun in the 8th house, and then you have your ascendant in Virgo. That's what's up. Your ascendant is in Virgo. Okay. So, right, you're a Taurus, Virgo, ascendant Virgo. So you're triple air. My bad, you're triple earth. Potato. Anyways, the interesting thing about that, let me reveal. You may already know this. The esoteric dimensions of Taurus and Virgo, right? Which are because I'm Gemini, Virgo. You feel me? Which is interesting. And I wouldn't say we have similar planets, but I have a handful of retrogrades myself. So this is like I wouldn't say looking at my chart, but I see some things. But anyways, so what was I saying? With the esoteric evolutionary aspects of Taurus, once it evolves, right? We're gonna say, to spare the details, once Taurus evolves, they're still tuned into the material plane because Taurus is a material sign, but of course it has psychic affinities as well, and awareness for the inner world, you feel me? Like Taurus is exalted in the moon, for example. Ooh, and you have your moon in Taurus, right? Taurus is exalted in the moon, and the moon is the mother, we will say, of the occult magic practices, right? The moon, Saturn, Mercury, Uranus, right? Uranus, the moon, and Mercury and Saturn. They all have an affinity towards magic. You feel me? And Taurus very much has an affinity towards magic as well. But because it's a sign, right, that's materialistic, um, the Taurus energies, they may be inclined towards the practice of dark magic because of their love for material things. You feel me? Yeah, but it's like the Taurus energy, they're naturally magical if they apply themselves. So even though there is a inclination towards dark magic because of the desire for the material world, the Taurus energy can easily express as light magic. But anyways, back to the esoteric aspect, because I haven't even still revealed that. So Taurus expresses in a manner where it reveals the divinity. It has revealed to itself the divine within the material, but it also has an ability to help others understand the divine within the material. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, like yeah, I'll leave it at that, because we are gonna have to wrap this reading up pretty soon. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, with the Saturn energy, I feel like, being aware, more attentive towards those thoughts that deal with fear and doubt, you feel me? Especially in the direction of the second house. So not only money and material, but like just possessions and values and having things, you feel me? I feel like with the second house energy, Scorpio, Saturn energy, like there also may be an affinity towards like feeling afraid and scared even when danger is not near. Like Scorpio, yeah, inclines more towards like mental illness, and Saturn is the planet of illness as well. You feel me? And like you have your moon opposing Saturn, so it's like there is a lot of pressure put there from life. You feel me? It's like the elements of life, when we're exposed to them, we wither away. You feel me? And it's like with your moon conjunct, opposing Saturn, you've been exposed to a lot of the elements in the physical world, but with the Saturn energy, right, Scorpio being all about transmutation and evolving, you feel what I'm saying? Like yeah, in the long run, all those things are meant to be materials for you to learn how to because the key is from Mars, you want to try to get to Venus. Really, from Mars, you want to try to get to the moon. You feel me? My bad. We're talking about Saturn here. So there may be, yeah, there's definitely also a isolation. You feel me? Where, yeah, there is an isolation here. But then it's like with the Venus being in Aries, you are extrovert, and you have people, right? You can interact with. Yeah, it's not that it's not that you're introverted and you have a problem with people, but there's just an affinity towards being alone and by the self. And well, with the Saturn Mars energy, you feel me? Like socializing can be healing for you, like creating social tendencies and getting social could contribute healing energies, you feel me, to you, looking at your chart. But yeah, so this is pretty much the donation based reading. As you know, we can keep going and going and going, and I want to, but at the same time, I have other readings I have to do as well. You feel me? And yeah, a couple things unexpected to me that I thought I had more time to do. Um, I had to do now. You feel me? And so yeah, life kind of got, yeah. I guess my plans didn't flow the way I wanted to. So I do apologize for the delayed um, deliverance of this reading, but let me know what you think. Yes, and I would love to go deeper because unfortunately, I was only able to skim like the surface. And I think I've told you, the full readings were at 3 hour breakdown, so we'd be able to cover um, everything. But yeah, anyways, peace, 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 peace.